sycamore, holly, oak, and more. Take your pick while they last $10 to $20. You just can't afford to miss out on these deals. Don't forget the azalea sale. Bob has dwarf, ever-blooming red ruffles, still $3.99. Larger sizes are available. Great-looking double red knockouts and drift roses, just $19.99. And this year's best ever camellia show, it's going on right now. More than 5 acres of blooming camellias, all in multicolored splendor. You can get a small size Bob Wine's heirloom camellias this week for just $9.99. Check the ad, bobwinescamelliagardens.net, then hurry on over. Special store hours now open daily, including Saturday till 4:30. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Hey, good morning. You're listening to AM Ocala Live on WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall. Come over to Paddock Mall, say hello. We're also, for those at work who want to catch us, we're streaming YouTube live, WOCA, The Source Radio. And as promised, on the phone, I have Dr. Adam Rubenstien, is board certified and award-winning plastic surgeon, the chief of plastic surgery and the vice chief of the Department of Surgery for Jackson North Medical Center in Miami, Florida, specializes in whole-body surgical and non-surgical cosmetic treatments for both men and women. And good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks. Always great to be on with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, we like having you on, talking about all the stuff you do. You're a busy fella. You always got a lot going on.
Well, better to be busy than bored.
That's right. And I'm sure in your line of work, boring is on the rare.
Well, you might be surprised. Everyone has their excitement and their boredom in their life, right?
Gotcha. It says here that your goal is to help people make their best choices about the latest and most innovative procedures and how to address expectations based on the impact of the edited and filtered photo issue known as Snapchat dysmorphia. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, with social media, people are using all these filters to alter their appearance, and it's mostly for fun.
Of course.
But a lot of them will highlight certain parts of your facial appearance. It's really amazing what these filters can do to live image. That you're looking at yourself in the camera, you're doing something on a selfie for social media. These filters can do unbelievable things to your face, and sometimes they can accentuate things that you really can't do with procedures. Sometimes there are things you can do, but they're exaggerated. And what we've seen over the last maybe 5 years or so, as the social media has really exploded in our society, is that these filters have become almost the norm of what people look like on social media. And so over the years of people seeing these altered images, exaggerated lips, big doe eyes, things like that, people look at that now as the new normal. And then they start looking at themselves in the mirror. And, of course, you're not going to look that way in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so Snapchat dysmorphia is a term that's been coined to talk about people being dissatisfied with the way they look when they look in the mirror at themselves compared to the way they look on those filters in Snapchat and Instagram. I hate to pick on Snapchat, but it's really all of social media.
Of course. And I know what you mean, because different platforms have different features, like you said, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, even Facebook, that can just slightly, like you said, alter or doctor necessarily what you look like in an image and something like that.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. You flip your thumb across a button, and next thing you know, you've got these big doe-shaped eyes, and your skin looks perfectly smooth. I mean, there's so many things that can do to you that, just change your reality.
Does that follow the suit, like you said, when they look in the mirror and they're dissatisfied? Do you ever get people that are interested in having certain things go in the direction of trying to get to look like that in the real life, as far as some kind of operation to do so?
I don't think people come in. I don't think people have the awareness that they're expecting to look like those filters. I mean, every now and then someone will say, "Oh, I love how I look on this filter," but that's pretty rare. What really happens is people get an altered sense of what they would like to look like because they're looking at themselves through these filters constantly.
Right.
And that sense might be really exaggerated full lips, or really opening up the eyes, or smoothing the skin, or there's so many things that people will see of themselves in the filters that they don't see in the mirror, and that is what they come in asking for. I don't think they have the realization that, oh my God, I want to look like this because I look at myself with these filters all the time. They just know that, wow, I look really good when it's like that, so how do I make myself look like that?
Right. And that's what you're saying. There's that disconnect in themselves, and that little bit of anxiety that sets in, considering that they don't look like that, like they do within social media, and that puts a damper on the mindset that they have, just being, I guess what you say, in the real world, as they're not to those expectations that they've put themselves on social media, because that's where they're getting the majority of the attention, having looked like that.
Yeah, again, I don't think it's a direct connection, but I think that it doesn't take long for them to perceive themselves that way. As that's the ideal. That's how I look my best. How can I make myself look that way full time?
Right. It also says here that you're an outspoken patient advocate and believes people have the right to know, to make informed choices, and you're passionate about sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly about the common plastic surgery practices to help patients navigate the world, plastic surgery effectively and safely.
Absolutely. I do a lot of work to try and keep people safe. And really, what I'm dedicated to, outside of taking care of my patients in my professional career, I'm trying to make sure that people know what they need to know to make good choices and have realistic ideas of what we do and what can be accomplished, and make safe choices. One of the things about social media that's not so good, social media is great, and I'm on it, we're all over it, but there are a lot of people that are also on it that might not be so honest. They might not be really showing an accurate view of who they are or what they are, maybe being disingenuous, maybe hiding something, maybe outright lying.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time trying to educate people, put a lot of content into social media, talking about how to make your best choices, ways to look for things, and in some cases actually calling out other doctors that are kind of full of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now it says here, as far as navigating, plastic surgery effectively and safely, and it says also in why to be aware of what you quote medical tourism. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I practice in Miami, And we see a lot of people, unfortunately, that kind of chose to find a better deal outside the country. And, medical tourism really started and rose because it wasn't so difficult to get a cheap price going to Costa Rica, going to Mexico, going to Colombia, and other Central and South American countries to get your procedure done at less than what it would cost you here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written some blog articles about this, and I often say sometimes when you go looking for a bargain, you get more than you bargain for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A price that's really cheap in another country is terrific if everything goes perfectly, but it doesn't always go perfectly. In fact, it's not uncommon to have a little blip on the radar, and sometimes it's not such a little blip.
Yeah, yeah. And that's something that, like you said, to promote, to say, hey, listen, hold on for a second. If you're looking for that necessary bargain, like you said, what you bargained for, and this is something where, this is your body, and what you're saying is like, there's a way to do this, there's a way to do it effectively, correctly, safely, and that's sometimes more to be aware of and be looking at for the importance of, rather than just a cost of a bottom line.
Well, right. And listen, I understand people have limited budgets, and there's a wide variety of prices that you can find in this country. The problem is not only medical tourism going to other countries. There's plenty of a problem here where doctors who are not trained in plastic surgery that are performing plastic surgery at cheap prices.
Oh.
So you got to be careful, even in this country. It's not just a problem heading to Central and South America. Just educate yourself, know what you're getting into, and that's really all I do in social media is try and tell the truth. I have a profile in Instagram that I run called Plastic Surgery Truths.
Mm-hmm.
And in that profile, we answer questions people send, and that's where if I see doctors that I think are doing things really outside what I personally consider to be, honorable and truthful and transparent, then I might make videos and post them about those doctors. And I think, the price should not be the determining factor of where you have a procedure done. And having said that, I understand people they have a limited budget sometimes, and they have to find something that matches their budget, and that's perfectly fine.
Of course.
But I often advise people, look, just don't do something until you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go looking for a super low price
Right.
so you can have it now. Wait till you can have it done well.
Yeah.
Because having it done super cheap and having it done super well don't often meet.
Right. And then, even in the long run, that could be exponentially more costly, maybe not just even in dollars, but, in those risks, rather than, like you said, trying to find the means within a budget and then work to know that you can afford it when you want it done, when you want the procedure done.
Yeah, have it done well, have it done well and have it done properly by a well-trained doctor with experience. If you wanted to fly from South Florida to California, you probably wouldn't go looking for a boat captain to pilot your plane.
Right.
But people that want to have plastic surgery, when they see a low price, they don't ask the questions, and they sometimes end up with an emergency room doctor or an internist or a family doctor or a gynecologist doing their plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And none of these are exaggerations. These are actual things that have happened.
Yeah. Even to as far as, as it says here, media are invited, quote, into the operating room to observe or experience procedures and see the results of before and after, and can help your audience. Dr. Rubenstien can also bring procedures to your studio, so you also can bring such procedures to some people.
Yeah, well, in terms of, we're going to do stories about it and show people some of the latest and greatest. I have brought things, and I've been in studio and talked about and shown procedures. I teach many procedures all over the world, and a lot of it is something we can do live in studio. So sure, if if someone wanted to demonstrate a new procedure or learn about new technology, there's a lot of things we can bring into a studio and do it live.
Yeah. What are some of those? As I was reading I was trying to... Chrysalax, is that how you say it? Chrysalax?
Oh, Chrysalix. Yeah, that's a consultation tool that we use.
Yeah.
You've probably seen or heard about people doing imaging where they might take pictures. Rhinoplasty, nose surgery is a great example. They take pictures and then kind of alter the picture to say, okay, well, this is what you might look like. Well, Chrysalix is a way to do that in three-dimensional virtual reality. So we can scan your entire face and then make alterations, and you can view it on a 3D virtual reality goggle and see your face with your potential new results.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, excellent. Like I said, it's always a pleasure. We have Dr. Adam Rubenstien is board-certified and award-winning plastic surgeon, the chief of plastic surgery and vice chief of the Department of Surgery for Jackson North Medical Center in Miami. Specializes in whole body and surgical and non-surgical cosmetic treatments for both men and women. And how can folks get a hold of you? How can they find out more information?
Well, you certainly can find us online at dr-rubenstein.com. It's dr-rubenstein.com. And you can reach me at the office. Always call. We offer free consultations, 305-792-7575.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, partner. It was great having you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. All the best with what you do and what you have going on. And like we said, continue to stay busy, just like you are.
Oh, thanks a lot. Great to be back again. Look forward to the next time.
You got it. Have a good one. And WOCA, you're listening to AM Ocala Live, and we're coming up to the top of the hour. And after we come back, we'll have On Top of the World. We'll have Robert Colin. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. This Source. We'll be back after this.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Attorney General William Barr, a Justice Department spokeswoman, says has no plans to resign.
Multiple reports suggested he's considering stepping down over the president's tweets about ongoing legal cases. President Trump admitted his tweets are making Barr's job harder while defending using the platform.
Social media for me has been very important.
The president has been vocal about the case of longtime associate Roger Stone, who's set to be sentenced tomorrow on several